Hi, Warriors. How's everyone doing today? Hi, Ingmar, AJ, Michael, Steve, Glenn's here, Will. Hi, Ryan, Bran came in. Oh, thanks, Bran. That's great. Okay, there you go. Compliment to the Flow Show, Parth, Nuno, everybody, team. How you guys doing? Well, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so
See what a trip to the beach does for you, Dale?
yeah, I do see. So, in fact, it's not easy to move anymore. Okay, I forgot. Anyway, let's get to the markets. Dollar's still trying to hold, Ryan.
Sure
Not
is.
not making a lot of upside progress, but not going down yet either. Where are
Yeah.
you at here?
I'm a bit like that chart. I don't know what's going to come next. We're over the deadline. There's deals still being done. I think the market's in a little bit of, well, what do we do now moment. We've got lack of data. I think we're just going to wait and see if anything comes from this Europe, US negotiations, how good, bad, or ugly it is. But I don't want to give it the kiss of death, but we might be starting to enter some summer markets the way this is
Oh
looking at
yeah,
the moment.
quiet markets. There's one thing I did notice yesterday. Gold was up pretty good and silver was down, and I thought we might be turning here on the gold silver ratio. It's trying to turn, and uh, that's going to have pretty important implications if it could get going to the upside. Yen has come off a little bit, really right near where Blake mentioned it earlier in the week. So you have a feeling on what to do here? They haven't had made any progress with Japan?
No, not really. But Besant's over for this expo, and Akazawa, the trade minister, is going to be pulling his ear a bit when he gets over there on trade stuff. They're not giving it up, but there's still plenty of other reasons why the yen can remain weak unless something happens with that trade stuff. Yeah, it was a bit of a one-way street yesterday from off those 147 highs all the way down to 145.70 odd,
Yeah,
which was just a bit of a minor level just left of that big spike,
right.
20th of June. Don't know why it stopped there. It's a bit of a stretch point maybe, but now we've
Yeah,
gone back in the middle. But that's not to say if it's quiet you can't trade. When it's quiet, you just look for the ranges and look for the levels. 146.50 is a level, and we've hit our head on that a few times. So you've got a bit of a range now: 146.50, 147.70s to keep an eye on. Same in euro dollar. It held those 116, 80, 90 area, all those little lows you've got there. And then the big level on the way up was 117.50, and look where the high was today.
yeah, yeah. It's starting to look a little bit too elongated to be a
Yeah,
bull flag anymore. Maybe it
yeah,
still
stretching
could
out,
be.
isn't it?
I was just going to talk about that. I'll go into like technical detail in a bit on that,
Okay.
Dale.
Burn the
Yeah.
All right.
flag, burn the
All right.
flag.
All right, brother. Uh, so cable, yeah, I see this beginning to develop, so I'll draw a line there. See, do you have a view on it? I know last week it was a real bad performer from where this low came in from the high to this low, but we'll see.
Looks
Is
more
it?
vulnerable than the euro.
Yeah. So, maybe some support at the big round number at 35. And 35 was a pretty big area. So almost like where it turned good. So it could be an important level.
Yep.
Okay, and appreciate it. It's hard to, come up with a lot of things to talk about with these kind of markets, but
Yeah, we struggled this morning on the flow
okay,
show, but yeah, we did a bit of preaching instead. That always goes down well.
okay, all right, Father. Uh, anyway, how are you today, K-Man?
Hello, brother.
How are you?
It's a father, brother.
Yeah,
Ah,
well, we all are.
uh, I'm waiting. As we say, when there's nothing happening, it always gives us time to prepare for what could be next. And I guess we're in that zone now. Interesting. What I just said in the room is that the US tends to buy its own currency, where the rest of the world is rather looking at the other side. And that's what makes a range for now. I don't have a lot to say. You were looking at that gold silver ratio. I was looking at that gold. It's holding the trend line support, and it still finds enough energy to come back above 3,300 for now. We're not making any headway anywhere, but we're in that 32.85, 33.45 range, and yeah, I think the market is waiting for what's next. With oh, there has been those letters sent, and several countries have been put tariffs upon, but uh, for as long as the big blocks have this kind of potential to somewhere find a deal, Sefcovic was not deal averse yesterday. Von der Leyen is doing her best. I thought gold may have had a bit of an opportunity to correct lower, but it is holding pretty stubbornly.
Yeah, and yields came off from that
Hmm.
almost 440 level. You think this was it, and yields will start to drop under 420, or is this
Um,
a pullback to old support, new resistance here?
I still think 420 neutral zone, and we are going to gravitate towards it again.
Okay.
For as long as we don't know more about what the real impact on inflation is going to be, because of the tariffs, probably also having to wait for what's going to be the impact of the big beautiful bill, and then yeah, what's going to happen with with trade deals. I think the market is going to be in a bit of a wait and see mode right now, Dale.
Okay. All the action's still here, and even these are kind of range bound. Um, you know,
Yeah,
looks like it.
summer markets maybe here, Dale.
Well, maybe people are just exhausted from, the beginning of the year
Yeah.
and I mean, there's good reason to be exhausted, both sides of the market, the bears and the bulls,
Mm-hmm.
with, this historical crash and historical rebound. Um, yeah, there probably is some exhaustion here. But I've seen that the greedometer has gotten back to extreme greed, but
That's
that
what
doesn't mean it'll stop it. But
that
um,
that yeah, that's a
but
bit logic, right? Seeing the move that we had, it's kind of well, shit, it's kind of a yeah, kind of an RSI, the greedometer meter, right?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. I
but
mean, wiped
anything to
out the
say about it? Oh,
bulls,
yeah,
wiped
yes.
out the. There's no one left to play. They wiped out the bulls,
Mm,
and then they
yeah,
wiped out the bears.
yeah, and
So
yeah,
who's
and
left?
yeah, I think we need to differentiate perhaps the stock markets a bit, because they are still there's a lot going on in the chips. There's I think
Yeah,
we're starting Q2 revenue reports as well next week. So they may be on the move, maybe more than FX. Who knows? FX seems a bit tired right now, and by that I mean maybe the big money managers have done kind of what they needed to do, and now they're not too much involved right now. That's how I feel it anyway.
Okay. Yeah. You know, a lot of the Mag 7s, NVIDIA made new all-time highs, I believe, up here. Yeah. So I know some people had 185 targets, not that far away. You know, uh, we had Andrew O'Connell on Monday, and you know, his big bet for the year is Cannabis. Okay, and he was on Monday. So they are, to me, look like they're breaking out. So since we're in the transition to trading analytics, you know, we don't have to always be, there are other things to do and think about besides, you know, when things go into ranges and get quiet, there's always something happening. So this is the ETF that has a majority of them, and this one right here. And it looks like they're coming out of here. Yeah, they've been bludgeoned. Okay, I mean, you want to talk about a washed out group. If I put up a weekly, they'll look like dots, but you know, most of them have lost 90%. Okay, 52 to $3. Some pretty good divergences developing down here. You know, some lotto money at cannabis stocks. Um, I'm just saying O'Connell's pretty good. He has won trading championships. So, although I think he tried it last year and it didn't work. So, but we're much closer with the Trump administration reclassifying it, which is going to, you know, for the industry, you know, they haven't been able to bank. They haven't been able to write things off. I mean, it's going to change their balance sheets if they, you know, are able to, uh, you know, come back from being like a semi business, but, you know, they're limited in what they could do. And I think the reason, and people would say Trump would never, and, you know, Project 2025 would never reclassify it, but they're looking at it even from an immigration standpoint that there's a big black market, and they want to eliminate the black market. So it could happen. And with that being said, Blake, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Doing okay. Doing okay. It's obviously a pretty slow session thus far, and you know, we're waiting on things to happen. However, I think there's some movements that we can talk about. I will talk about the euro, but first, as you mentioned, Dale, trading analytics is on its way. If you guys haven't put in your name and email address to get notified with our weekly newsletter on what we are doing from a development standpoint for trading analytics, make sure you sign up. It serves a dual purpose. Last week we sent out some updates on what we're doing with trading analytics, some of the new features, which are exciting. And I can't wait to even share more because, you know, from a development standpoint, but you'll be the first to be notified right here. Just put in your email. Plus, if you want to put in multiple emails, you'll be entered if you're on our mailing list, our email list for the weekly newsletters. You're going to be entered to win one of two trader funding programs for this month. We already gave one out last month to a young lady, and hopefully one of you are the one of two winners this week or this month, excuse me. So make sure you sign up right here from our, it's right in the middle of our website. If you're at forexanalytix.com, you just click right there. And that's it. All right. So I wanted to just make sure I covered that. As far as the markets go, you know, you one of the things that you said, Dale, is the flag pattern in the euro is a little long in the tooth, which would invalidate the setup. And I want to take you guys through the psychology of this. As you guys know, you know, on the week ahead video, I said, is the dollar ready to bounce? You know, that was like the title of last week's video. And the fact of the matter is you have so many people that are in the dollar bear camp dollar bearish narrative. Euro's going to 120. It's written in stone already. It's a given, it's God's will that the euro is going to 120. And I agree. It's just a matter of time. But the question is, are we going to see like 115 before we see 120 or maybe 114? Are we going to see lower levels before we eventually hit 120? I'm in that camp just because, I think that the short dollar trade is way played out, but it doesn't mean that we won't go there. I'm playing it opposite of that right now. I shorted the euro dollar last night. If you guys are in the Forex Analytix chat room, you're in the trades room. You could go to last night at 117.45 at 5:50 p.m. my time, which is 8:50 last night. You can see I was getting long, dollars at that point. And I had a few drinks in me too, which is another story. But regardless, if you want to see what we're doing in the Forex Analytix chat room and how we're managing those trades, you can be right there for that. Anyway, when you talk about it being a little bit long in the tooth, the reason why this idea is it needs to be in your mind is because if we get or if the flag exceeds 50% of the flagpole, then it becomes invalidated from a technical standpoint. Now, the reason why that works is in this case, you have so many people that are expecting the euro to go to 120. That's just like, everybody's thinking it. At what point do people start to get frustrated? And that's what's happening right now. You're getting people that are now starting to go, shit, I've been long this thing, for a week and or since Monday or since yesterday, whatever it is. If we start getting below 106.50, and I know I just tweeted this out too. If you follow Forex Analytix on Twitter, or X, you already read the analysis, or if you're following us via the updates, you can go right here and read the same analysis. Basically, what I'm saying to you right now, right here. If we drop below 106.50, this is where people give up. This is the give up point. This is where people go, well, F it, I'm wrong, I'm getting out. And that, I think, is at risk today. So remember, the 38% retracement comes in right here at 116.83. That's held us. You can see it's held us 3 or 4 times this week. So if we break through that level, we hit new lows, we're probably going to get to the oh shit point for anybody who's long euros. And then next thing you know, we're trading down at 115.50. So if you want to know what's on my radar today, that's it. Now, what could be a catalyst today to drive that? Well, weekly unemployment claims. I know you go, well, shit, Blake, it's weekly unemployment claims. We get it every week. Yeah, but every week the market is expecting the US economy to roll over, the labor market to go play dead. We're going to hell in a handbasket here in the United States. So any day now, weekly unemployment claims are going to jump to 395,000 just out of the blue. Well, how about if we have another week of, sub 250,000 weekly unemployment claims, and not only to mention, and remember, this is what the market's looking for. So we have weekly unemployment claims. The market's looking for 236,000. So let's just say we're at 240,000. Nothing out of the ordinary. But the issue is you have the whole market looking to do something. You have the whole market that's aching to do something. Imagine this is a poor analogy, but imagine like a drug user, excuse me, that has not had their fix in like 24 hours because the market's been quiet, right? So now the market is now anticipating something. They're waiting to act. Give me something to do. And if weekly unemployment claims are, they're better than expected. Maybe they come in 228,000. maybe that provokes some dollar buying. We also have a 30-year auction today, which if you guys missed the notes auction yesterday, I know I did. I wasn't paying attention to it, but after the fact, when I sat down last night to do analysis, what you'll notice is we got a really big bounce off the 200 DMA, 50 DMA, but also channel support. How about if we have another 30-year auction that's not so bad, you know? Then you get the bond market moving higher and yields dropping again.
What
So
lit up
anyway,
I'm sorry,
just
Blake.
what's that, bud?
I was wondering what lit up Bitcoin yesterday. I mean, there was action there in crypto.
Yeah, and last night we went and probed. I don't know. Well, I mean, we were all. I was one of those things. I was in the chat room last night, just kind of checking in, and I'm like, "Damn, look at Bitcoin up at all-time highs again." And that was yesterday late afternoon, as I was writing analysis. So we just, I don't know what goosed it, Dale, but maybe it's kind of what we're talking about with the currency market. Like Bitcoin's not going down. I mean, let's face it. It's not price action wise. It's not. You could argue otherwise and say, oh, it's Bitcoin's going to be half because we're in a tulip mania and it's not worth anything. It doesn't do anything. You have that argument. It's fine. But the fact of the matter is, price is not suggesting it's going lower. Matter of fact, the pullback that you see here is less than a 38% retracement on a daily chart.
Yeah.
When we got that move to 75,000, the pullback has been less than 38%. We have not hit that 200 DMA since. And as long as we stay above that 200 DMA and above that 38% retracement, the risk, in my opinion, is that we trade, above 120,000 next. So I don't know, Dale.
Okay.
It's just, no sellers. I mean, the thing about Bitcoin, and this is a generational thing, you have more young kids that are my kids' age that I told you guys 5 years ago. You asked my newly freshly minted teenage kids that are obviously interested in the markets. You asked them 5 years ago, would you buy gold or would you buy Bitcoin? Because in their view, it's all the same. And they'll tell you the exact same thing, and they still will to this day in their 20s. Dad, why would I buy a piece of rock? Like, why wouldn't I just buy the same thing in digital? Because then I can buy and sell it really easily. They view it as the same, Bitcoin and gold. Whether you agree that it is, you're also, and I'm pointing at you at home, you're also a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like me.
I know.
Right. So, anyway, I'll get off
stable coins and all that stuff that's coming. Do you understand it?
I don't,
Me
but
either.
I know Ryan does. So let's pass that over to Ryan.
All right. Ryan. Yeah. Well, Ryan's the
Ryan on
youngest guy
stable
on the
coins.
team.
Let her rip, buddy.
Isn't he the youngest on the team?
Ryan, do you have any coins in your stable?
I don't have a stable at the moment. I sold it because I lost out everything on Bitcoin. So I had to sell the horses and the farmyard and everything. But stable coins, crack on.
I noticed Steve has bowed out, so he's not here anymore.
Get him back, drag him back. He can't get away with it.
Anyway, no, I'm not a crypto guy, but good news is we have crypto traders in the Forex Analytics chat room. Jack from our Jack that he does a lot of work with us, and he's the kid that sat next to me. He works for Rick. Oh my gosh, the largest wealth manager here in the United States. He works directly for him, and he's been building for the last 5 years the wealth management guideline and kind of certification that wealth managers are taking around the United States to get crypto certified. He's been writing that whole education component for the last 5 years. We're going to start bringing Jack on to the trading analytics shows later this fall, because he may be in his early 20s, but I've watched him I've watched him turn his crypto accounts into ridiculous amounts of money since he was 17 years old. And I'm super proud of him as a trader, but also as a crypto expert. He understands more about crypto than 99.5% of people out on FinTwit. So anyway, it's really great stuff. And he's in our chat room. His name's Jack. So anyway, I won't harass you guys and ask Ryan and K-Man and Dale about stable coins because it's out of our wheelhouse. But let's talk a little bit about right now. And by the way, if you ever have any crypto questions, you should be in the Forex Analytix chat room and just ask Jack. He's truly an expert at a ripe young age of 23, 24 years old. Let's talk a little bit about what you're expecting today. Ryan, what are you thinking today? I know I just talked about the 30-year bond auction and about the dollar and weekly unemployment claims, but any currencies on your radar today?
Yeah, keep an eye on a couple of things. This bloody dollar mex, whether we can get this down to its 1850 level.
Did you read my chart of the day yesterday?
Well,
did you read my chart of the day yesterday? I'm on the blog.
Yeah, I copied it off me or what?
I did. I said, "Oh, I didn't put your name in there." I'm sorry.
No credits, nothing. See, terrible. Plagiarism of the highest order. Yeah, there's a bit of range watching going on in a lot of pairs at the moment. We spoke about euro dollar CAD. Still can't get above this. It's having another go, 36.80, 85 area. So until it can actually do that, it's looking very lacking. Market's going to take on 137, but it's still looking reasonably bullish.
And don't forget, we have a Canadian jobs report tomorrow. Just FYI. Yeah.
So that could be a bit of a mover. I'm still a bit short. I'm inclined to get in on a decent dip if we get down something like low 136s or something.
That's a I know I've talked about this on the morning edge. One of the things that I've been discussing is, I've been playing it on the long side coming out of this wedge. But the thing is and this is the week ahead video talking now. I played it out of this wedge, but now we're looking at a much bigger double bottom, especially if we get up towards 138, following the jobs report. And I think that's like the big risk right now, especially if we take out this 137.06 level. I'd be a little nervous being short this. So but you've been riding this short for a long time, right? Brian? Oh, we lost you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. Yeah, 25th of June I got in this one.
Yeah,
and it was back on that. Yeah, we're talking about head and shoulders. I wanted to nail the shoulder.
Yeah. Very, very, very good. Well, Ryan, we'll keep an eye on this dollar CAD, especially if we break above this 137 level. Hey, real quick before we pass it back over to Dale, and I know we have an interview. Man, I wanted to ask you a little bit about this Brazilian. I know Lucas is from Brazil. He's in our chat room. He's chatting about it. It's a pretty big tariff on Brazil, obviously, but this feels more politically motivated. How do you think we as the market participants should read it? Because one of the things that gave the dollar mex a little get up and go yesterday initially was, oh shit, look what Trump's doing. But now that we've sat back and said, okay, it's more political. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I agree with that. It looks as if he wants to push what's his name?
Bolognese?
Lulu?
Oh, okay.
Lulu in Brazil. What's this name again? Yeah, I think they want to push the guy to the sides, and therefore using anything that's possible to hike tariffs. Because if you look at it on the face value of things, Brazil doesn't even have a trade surplus with the US. So it's a bit of a politically driven move, that one. And then, yeah, I'm not not inclined to start trading Brazil right now, but if they would start to succeed in change, pushing to some sort of changing regime, it may actually be good for Brazil real. But jobless claims just
Yep.
slightly better. Yeah.
And here goes the dollar. You know, again, this is if you're long euro, you're like, oh shit, here it goes, you know. So, but a little bit better than expected. But you know, it's thank you for your commentary on Brazil. I as a US based trader, unless you guys know of a broker that can trade the real, I'm limited on with my live accounts at different brokers. Maybe some of you, unless you're, I mean, if you're institutional, you might, but from a retail point of view, I don't have access to the BRL. But thank you, K man. I want to make sure everybody understands that, so you're not out there like I'm selling Mexican pesos because of this. I am long with Ryan. I'm long dollar max. I've been long for a couple of days now, but I'm not long as a result of what the Trump administration is doing to Brazil. But I do believe it is a story worth monitoring. Point of view. Anyway, guys, if you're not in our chat rooms talking about all of these types of topics, you know, in our general chat room, you're not, you know, in here having discussions, posting your charts, reading what other analysts and what other traders are doing. This is Rob. He is actually one of the winners from the NFP competition. He's been in out of Australia. He's been posting up some really good analysis. If you're not, you know, in this chat room having conversations about what's happening with crude oil and what's happening in Brazil, this is a private community. You should be in there. It's $1 for 10 days to try us out. So make sure you do that. All right, guys. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, K-Man and Dale. Are you looking for who's your interview today?
Chris just sent me a DM. He was in Israel and Gaza. I don't know for what reason, but he just got back, so he
Oh, I
needs
know what
some
reason.
time. Is he in the reserves?
No, no, he's probably a contractor. So
Okay. Yeah.
he's probably a hired gun. He's ex
Yeah,
he's a
Marine.
Marine, recon Marine. So him and I were in the same outfit. He's a few years younger, so I'm sure he does I mean it's very high paying work, and I'm assuming he's a hired gun that
Yeah.
was in Israel. So anyway,
Well, it you know gives him a grub stake to trade.
well, yeah, I mean, hell, and you know, probably a lot of great, you know, you do it for whatever your reasons are doing it. If I was 10 years younger, I'd been doing stuff like that too.
Yeah. So
Unfortunately,
anyway,
yeah, he's not going to make it, huh?
yeah, he's has to decompress, I guess.
You know what? And I'm making assumptions here about Chris, but I've met him in person, and I wouldn't. You know, I've had drinks and dinner with him, and I wouldn't. I would. That's my assumption, and I don't know
Yeah.
that for sure. I've never had any conversations with that. But if he just got back from Israel and from Gaza, that would be my best
Yeah.
guess.
Wasn't
So
for a vacation. You don't
yeah,
go to Gaza for a vacation. So
no, no, not at
so
all.
anyway, tomorrow we have the Silver Baron, Tavi Costa,
Ooh, oh yes.
and
Tavi, everybody's been requesting him, and he's a Brazilian,
yeah,
and I want to say that he's been dead on for, you know, a long time about precious metals, and he's a
yeah,
big copper bull. And Tavi, Dale's been able to get him on, and it's usually because of the time zone for him not being on the face show. So for him to, you know, be here tomorrow is going to be an amazing, amazing interview. So thank you for bringing that up, Dale, and thanks for bringing
yeah,
him on.
yeah. He went when silver was about 20. He went in big on a silver mine, and people are saying, back then were saying, "Oh, Tavi, it's going to get cheaper." Anyway, um, yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk to Tavi, Yeah.
He's one of the best macro minds out there.
He
In
does
my
currency stuff too.
He
Because he
does. He
is a
does.
macro guy. So
Yep.
we'll hear about what he thinks about the real and so forth tomorrow.
Yeah. So if you guys, I'm not now. I don't jump on LinkedIn, but he's on LinkedIn. I was actually just looking for it. There he is. Oh, on Twitter. Yeah. If you don't follow Tavi, you should. With the other 258,000 people that follow him. But more importantly, be here tomorrow for that interview. It's going to be a great interview. Remember, it's happening right after we cover Canadian jobs report, which we will be doing live, which I hope to have some Canadian exposure between now and then. So, so anyway, going to be a great interview, Dale. Anything else you want to mention before we head out for the day?
There's
Dale.
no place like home.
There is no place like home, and I'm sure you're feeling that being on the coast right now.
We'll see. That's why I
Well,
said there's no place like home.
well, when you
Anyway,
get a chance, make sure you get your feet in the Pacific Ocean and go tell me how the sand feels in your toes. I'd wish I was there right now.
well, thank you, Blake.
All right, buddy.
Anyway, listen, thank you, K-Man and Ryan.
Thanks, mate.
You're trying to make something dramatic that's static right now, but there's still trades. Maybe you lower your expectations, or if you have a conviction, maybe you build a position for a position during these times. And but there's always a trade. And check out those marijuana stocks, see if they follow through, because I mean, for most of these to double or triple, all it's going to do is get bit, could be like a 10% retracement. So anyway, that's it for me. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Dream Team.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Dale.
Adios. Adios.